Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Chess 24 India broadcast of the Julius Baer Challengers Chess 2, the Hou Yifan Challenge. I'm back, and Katie will be joining us in a really short time. But until then, you have to contend with me and this second move, B3. So, the first question before we get into the games, before we get deeper into the games, how long do you think Prag can endure this streak? He has won 9 games out of 9. It has been an absolutely fabulous performance. But how long do you think he can keep going? How long do you think he's going to sustain it? Will it be 10 games? Will it be 11 games? Will it be 12 or 13 or all the way up to 16 games? What do you guys think? Do let us know in the poll. While we get into the games, do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, so more people can tune in. I guess the notifications are just going to the people right now. 2b3, a much better setup than 1b3, so not to be confused, not to be mixed up with that. And first 5 moves on. This game between Prag and Christopher is one of the important games in the context of who wins this tournament. Christopher has been one of the players who has been closely pursuing Prag. He has a score of 6 out of 8. He was winning virtually all the games until he had a mouse slip against Aditya Mittal and lost that game in a very sad fashion for him. And because of that, he's on 6 out of 8 right now, but still he's within the catching distance of Prag and has a realistic chance. He has played fabulously well so far in this tournament, so that's one thing that will be interesting to watch. If Prag can continue and sustain a streak against a set of slightly stronger players in the coming games. He will have Christopher Yu in this game, who is in the 3rd spot right now, and in the next few games in today, he has Vincent Kamer, Abhimanyu Mishra, and Leon Mendonca. These are his pairings for today. It's not going to be easy for Prag. It's some of the strongest opponents in this tournament. So let's see how Prag does. Meanwhile, I see a lot of optimism in the poll. I see a lot of optimism in the chat, and I had to say it. I hope it happens. I hope it goes 12 plus. The other games, the other Indian pairings, yes, Prag has got an interesting position out of the opening. It's just 7 moves. He is going to win this bishop, but Black has a very solid structure, and he won't mind losing his light square bishop, with all the other pawns compensating for control of the light squares. So this is Prag's game. The other Indian games, Aditya Mittal plays against Abhimanyu Mishra, and it looks like he's got some preparation going because he has 11 minutes. He started with 10 minutes, and he has played so fast, kept adding those 5 seconds, and now he has 11 minutes and 16 seconds. And in terms of position, the evaluation bar thinks it's around equal, but surely there is some complex problems to solve for Abhimanyu Mishra. He cannot castle right now. The queen on c5 is covering the path of the king. So the king has to cross the f8 square in order to get to castle, and the king cannot do it. So that's one of the problems that Black has. Without being able to castle, white is ready to open up lines against the Black king, for example, with something like e5 or something like d5. So white has that attacking potential going on, probably with e5, also to fix the e6 pawn and open up this bishop. So white has his attacking potential going on, and Black's king is stuck in the center. It's going to be hard work for Abhimanyu Mishra to try and equalize this position. He has to play really accurate. And looking at this game from the opening, from the beginning, it started with 1 d4, d5, c4, c6, knight f3, knight f6, knight c3. This is one of the tabias in 1 d4 with the Slav system. Here, Black can either take this pawn, d into c4, the classical Slav, or go e6, which is known as the semi-Slav, because, it kind of combines the Queen's Gambit and the Slav structures, a bit of half and half. So it's called as semi-Slav. And bishop g5, knight bd7, e3, queen a5. This variation is popularly known as the Cambridge Springs variation, queen a5 and knight bd7. This is a classic opening played all the way back in the Capablanca, like in World Championship matches. And it's something I used to play as a child myself because it was known to have traps for black. Knight d2 defends against some of these traps. And after bishop b4, for example, rook c1, let's say black plays something like short castle. Here, a typical mistake that people make when they are playing at the lower levels is they make a move like bishop d3. So chat, here is your first question. What if white plays a normal developing move like bishop d3? How does black respond? Anshika, you can feel free to clip that portion, the perfect meme face. But yeah, how does black respond here? How does black win some material? Yes, exactly. D into c4. And a lot of people do fall for this. This attacks both the bishops. The pawn attacks the d3 bishop, and the queen attacks the g5 bishop. And white is forced to play bishop into f6. And now after c into d3, black will be a pawn up. So this trap is quite common at the lower levels. No Shabbat Jot. No, it's not followed up with b5. You have to take the bishop. The point is queen into g5. So yeah, rook c1, knight e4, knight into e4, d into e4, bishop h4, and now queen into a2. So once again, this is one of the traps that I was talking about. The knight is pinned. The knight is pinned by the bishop, so white cannot take knight into a2. But here white gets a lot of compensation. He goes queen c2, knight b6, bishop e2, with the idea of developing, and the queen can potentially get trapped. So black has to be careful. Knight a4, trying to exchange the queen. Short castle, bishop into c3, b into c3. And here you see this knight on a4, the bishop on c8 are really badly placed. So going into this endgame will probably be better for white. White is a pawn down but has much better pieces. He has the dark squares, and black cannot develop his pieces so easily. For this reason, Abhimanyu took knight into c3, queen into c3, and now queen into a2, and now he's 2 pawns up. So game is a classical example of material versus quality. And now Aditya plays this classy move, queen a3, threatening queen e7 check, but more importantly, holding the black king onto the center and preventing him from castle. So why queen a3? Why not queen b4? It does the same thing, right? The difference is after queen a3, f6, white has this move f3, which opens files against black's king, which is really important to try and access the black's king. And when white plays f3, e3 loses protection, so the queen has to be on e3. So for this reason, queen a3 was played, f6, f3, and now after c5, taking advantage of the fact that white cannot take queen into c5 because of queen into e3 check and trying to castle short. But white inserts this move, rook e1 first in anyway. And now after into f3, e4, queen d2, threatening checkmate. White can probably just take g into f3, and this is a very nice position for white. He has taken g into f3. So Aditya, with the initiative, charging ahead, he could have taken g into f3, and he could have also taken the pawn with the queen. But either way, he has the initiative, he's charging ahead, and Abhimanyu firmly on the defensive with a very difficult practical position to play and very little time as well. A huge time advantage has opened up. And moving on to Vaishali's game, she's playing against Murjin Oloda. Leon has a bye in this round. He does not play in this round because there's an odd number of players. There is one bye. One player does not play in every game. There are 17 players in total. So 16 players play 8 games against each other. So there are 8 games going in every round. And then there is one bye going on. So for this reason, every player has a bye in every round. The bye does not count for points. It's not elective. The players don't choose to take a bye. It's just that they sit out in that one game. so that the others can play. And everyone does this in one of the rounds, in a total of 17 rounds. So that's how it makes up. Vaishali seems to be having a promising position. It started with the Karakan, Murjin's favorite, the advanced variation, and she played c4, a very interesting line, which is not for example, knight f, but c4 is a very interesting line, going directly for the pressure against the center, the d5 pawn, and knight c3, knight e7, knight f3, first developing the knights so that if black takes d into c4, white can take bishop into c4 with one go. Instead of, let's say, if she had started with bishop d3 and black took d into c4, then she's spending two moves. So it makes more sense for her to do it in one move. D into c4, bishop into c4, knight d7, short castle, and now knight b6. So this is quite typical in this pawn structure, with the white pawn on e5, black pawn on d5. Whenever black takes d into c4, black opens up the d5 square for his knights. But on the other hand, everything has pros and cons. And while you get this d5 square, you give up control of this d6 square. So the white knights has access to the d6 square. And quite often you're trading the strategic advantage. You barter the d5 square for the d6 square. This is quite typical in the Caro-Kann and similar structures. So bishop into c4, knight d7, short castle, knight b6. White exchanges this developed bishop of black, takes, knight f5, a4, a5, and after knight e4, knight d5. I'm just quickly taking through to the live position. Bishop d2, knight b4. White takes the knight. Black has the pair of bishops, but white has this dangerous knights. Knight e g5 just played with the idea of g4, creating mating threats. In a way, welcoming Keti to the stream, because she loves these attacking positions. She loves to checkmate the opponent. And I think knight e g5 is like the ideal moment for her to join. So let's welcome Keti with lots of likes and hearts in the chat.
Hey Shri, hey chat, how's everybody today? So yeah, I love these attacks, and you just pointed such a nice plane here with g4, and I just wonder how black is going to guard this weakness. Is there h6 move, Shri?
Yes, you can play h6, but white may play g4 in any case. H into g5, g into f5, g4, and here I'm even tempted to just sacrifice my piece with f6, something of this sort, to try and keep the attack going. It seems unlikely to work, but it is something I think that's worth consideration. It seems unlikely to work because black can just take this pawn on f6, but if it works, it can work. So you never know.
Yeah.
What do you think? How would you respond against h6?
I like to keep the pieces. Maybe 94 with the idea to push g4 later.
But the knight just came from e4.
Yeah, but we call this weakness, right? So now h6 can be a weakness after g4, and maybe g5, or knight can jump somewhere else. F4 can be f5 with f5 idea. It's always good to test your opponent, and the opponent will also lose some time to calculate all these lines, and you come back with the knight and like nothing happened.
Sneaky. It's like irritating someone by going near them, touching, and then disappearing before they can see you.
Exactly.
Do you do that ever?
I did what?
Do you ever play pranks like that on people?
No.
I used to do it all the time in my school. We were sitting behind, like there would be a group of boys sitting behind, and there would be one boy in the front, and then someone does something and removes the hand, and he doesn't know who did it, and you keep blaming the other person.
Oh yeah. There was some guy who was doing that to me. It was really funny situation because I thought it was someone else, but this guy was just pulling my hair from the other side, and it was awkward situation. Yeah. Oh, we don't do that. Girls are don't doing that. Tree. Boys are doing that. You know why?
Maybe. Yeah.
Because we do have long hair and you guys don't have long hair.
Well, you can do other things. You can tap on the head. You can tap on the shoulder, and
Yeah,
you
that's
can
also
play
true.
other kind of pranks. It doesn't always have to be pulling the hair.
Yeah, that's true. So what's our thoughts for today for Prague's performance? Do you think he will do his 100% this day again?
Just as you pointed out, just as you brought up Prag's name, I
Mhm.
see an incredible design on his board. Look at his pawns. What is he doing here? What is Prag doing? Is he playing chess or is he playing
Some weird game.
checkers?
It's not even checkers, like it's weird game. Okay, I voted for it was plus 12, I think. I voted that. Let's see.
Plus what?
In the pool we have the Prague's stake today.
Yeah. So you're going for
I
12
don't know where
plus?
your brain went, but I meant the Prague's. I meant our pool.
No, I was thinking about the evaluation bar when you said +1.
Okay. So the previous match he won, right? This is already the second round that players are facing each other.
No. They play only once, so
Only
this is the
one.
first time. And Christopher is one of the close pursuers of Prague. He's in the third spot. Prague with 9 out of 9, Christopher with 6 out of 8. And so far, the game has been really slow. So maybe we'll look at another fast moving game and then get back here when they get into time trouble. Yeah.
I can suggest one game. It can be Dragupati against Kilbasa. It seems already the end game. And another position which is really interesting, I don't know if you have covered, Garifulina against Mamazada.
Sure. So first, looking at the Balaji game, seems completely winning for white. I think you can just take this and even play a5. I was thinking, after rook into c2, some rook a4, and this endgame I think should be winning because the king is coming fast. Or maybe I'm being a bit careless. Yeah. What do you think? How does white win here?
Yeah, I think it's just risk-free position for white.
Yeah, rook into g6 h3. It also probably wins the second pawn. And Olivia has no time. She has like 6 seconds remaining.
Yeah, the time is also very important here. Like white has enough time to, check all
rook
the
into
ideas.
a4 would have been met with rook d7. So black goes rook b7 to prevent that. And now I think white just rolls this pawn forward and takes it home. So yeah, I think we can move on from this game because the Mamadzada game is really heating up. She just sacrificed this piece on the b file, rook d8, b into a4. Here white played b3, and Mamadzada showed exactly what you should do when someone says b3. Ignore it completely and don't respond to it. And so she just took the pawn on e4, f into e4, and now rook f d8. B into a4, B into a4, king e1, queen b6. And now there are two deadly threats. One is bishop into e4, another is rook into d4. It looks like There's no good way to defend against both these threats. What do you think?
I like this position, and I think that seems like the thing.
Katie, I'm sorry. I have a really interesting question for the chat.
Uh-huh.
So let's say white plays c3 here, chat. Let's say white plays c3 here. Black to play and win. How can black win in this position in just 2 moves?
Oh, I saw it. Oh, beautiful. It's beautiful,
Beautiful.
guys.
I know.
It's before I shout out the moves to it.
Yes. Yes, chat. Come on. This is your moment to shine. And let's get some of those likes going. We have 300 people watching and only 100 likes. Let's get more of those likes going so more people can come in and cheer for Prag and the other amazing Indian juniors. Soham Kamatra in the chat with Queen B1, Janil Shah, Sin Theta. Our chat is amazingly strong. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not scared though. I'm not scared if your chat is those people who will have some battle against us. I'm not scared at all.
I mean, the voice says you're not scared, but I think the other expressions convey something else.
Okay, I hope someone would cover me when I was talking. Okay, all grandmasters are
Katie,
busy now.
it's our chat. It's not my chat, so I'm sure they will play for you as well.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome new people. Well, although my crocos are here to represent it, so I hope they also found this beautiful. But it's such a beautiful trick, right? Like you sacrifice a queen. There's not even like this queen doesn't even capture anything, but this queen traps the king, gets king on b1, and then you have bishop e4. And this is not discovery check, but this is double check. And when there is a double check, the only one option is to move the king. There is not other option. And we're getting this king back, and now we have this beautiful checkmate. I love it.
Yes, beautiful checkmate. And in the game, she did something similar. White played bishop e3. She took bishop into e4 with the threat of queen b2 and bishop into g2. And white had to give up the queen with bishop b5. So I think Mamadzada is going to take this one, and we should probably move on to some of the Indian games.
Yeah, we can do that. The question, it's interesting question, why Nihal is not playing this challenger, if anybody knows.
So Nihal is playing in the Sigaman and Co tournament from 23rd. It's a close tournament in Sweden with many strong top grandmasters, including Joran Van Forest and Nigel Short is also playing, I think. So because of this reason, Nihal is not playing here. And because of the Sharjah Masters, Abdus Sataro is also not playing here. So these are the two top guys who are not playing.
Well, it's sort of good information, right? It means that everybody is busy now because there are just events going on, and it seems like we're back to our semi-normal life. Not fully normal life, but trying to get back.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's wonderful news. It is starting to roll back to normal in, I think, across the world. And in India also things are getting better. We had the worst time, I think, ever in the May this year. So I think we have faced the worst, and it can't get worse. Meanwhile, there is some update in the there's some update in the Aditya Mittal Abhimanyu Mishra game. So here Aditya played bishop g3 in this position, 3 versus 3, opposite color bishop. Abhimanyu had defended and brought the game to this point. But here Abhimanyu played e4. Can you believe it? He played e4.
E4? What? Mouse slip or blunder? No.
It's definitely a blender.
Blunder, yeah.
And Aditya just said thank you and took the rook, and now he's just winning completely. That was a shocking moment for Abhimanyu, and he resigned at this point. Really unfortunate and shocking for Abhimanyu, but that's life as a teenage prodigy. You have to go through these kind of heartbreaks.
Yeah, that's really, really pity blunders. But what do you think? So it's just happening in online chess, or sometimes it also happens over the board chess?
No, I think sometimes it also happens in over the board chess. Many situations where it has happened in over the board chess. I remember Nihal blundering a piece like that once against Eltaj in a World Cup game, and Parimaj and Negi had several of such slips. So when your brain is solving high pressure, difficult problems, it's very similar to how your muscles get tired. The brain also gets tired, and if the brain gets too tired,
Yeah.
then these mistakes happen. Like how when your muscles are overworked, you start dropping things,
Oh,
no
yeah.
matter how strong you are.
It happens to me, not in chess because I'm not playing too much of chess and not training too much chess, but when I do too much, like some days in a row or weeks in a row, then I can't even remember very simple names and the numbers and some facts. And I know that that's the moment when I have to stop and just breathe and just to relax, because it happens to everyone, and it's very important to give your brain some free time and to to fresh up a bit.
Yeah, and absolutely. And chess is one of those games which really uses a lot of brain power. It's very, very fuel intensive as far as the brain is concerned. You have to be at the top of your brain consumption throughout the game. Even if you lose concentration for a few seconds, it's going to cost you. So I think that's kind of what happened to Prague. He played bishop e3, queen h7, and now he's really starting to lose control of this game. Knight e7, knight f5. Yes, the knight is coming to f5. In this particular position, this knight is actually stronger than the bishop. So you just stop this g6 pawn, g5 pawn with queen g7. Sorry, now my brain is mixing things up. He started with queen g6 and then knight f5 and then move the pawn forward.
What's very important here, white has to move this king from b1 because at some point there will be some e3, but what he's doing, it also makes sense. And maybe white can also hope for some draw here just to hold the position. The time is very important and none of them have any time on the clock. We're gonna see here heavy mistakes from one side, and
Maybe
of
from both
course,
sides.
of course, we all prefer here black side, right? Because it's easier to play with knights against this very bad bishop.
Yeah, and with queen h8, Prague has really upset Stockfish. e3 check, bishop into e3, and here you just take b into c3 check. I think it's really game over for Prague here. e3
Can
check.
we move king? Yeah, king.
Yeah, and now b into c3.
And
He goes to e1. That's, I think, cleverer.
oh yeah, like that. There's no check whatsoever. Then we can play queen, queen a8, queen b8, just to start checking. Yeah, queen b8.
Yes, and now just knight into, no, knight e7, important move, defending the king and getting the f7 square ready for the king's safety. And this pawn is just too advanced. So queen b1 check and c2 is one way. Queen e4 is another way. Get the queen, the pawn, yes, queen e4. The king defends, and now after c2, queen in 3, queen into e3 check is a threat, and c1 queen is incoming.
Is there some checks? Can we try some checks? Okay,
Yeah,
what
queen
he's
a7
trying,
check,
he's playing
king
check
e8.
and queen e1 or queen e3. Oh no, he wanted to guard d4 pawn. Nice. This young people are finding the most like difficult
Resilient defenses.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't give up easy. They're not tired yet of life.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh yeah, this is really bad. He has to trade the queens and then knight comes on b3 and next one is
Oh,
c1.
I just noticed that I don't even have the number 9 on the poll because I was so sure that it will start with 10. But This is Prag's first loss after an amazing 9-game winning streak, guys. Uh, although Prag lost this game, let's not be biased. Let's be the same whether it's a win or loss. Prag OP in the chat with lots of hearts, and do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That always cracks you up, yeah.
I just love that how you're using these. I think if someone wakes you up with a gun on your head and like, well, where is the gold? You'll say, gold is there, but please, please do some. How do you say?
Yes.
To click the sub button.
I'll be like, oh, please take the gold, but do hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
You will say that for sure. Oh, there was.
Vaishali seems to have been out-tricked by Murjin. How did that happen? We'll look at it in the break. How the trick happened. Yes.
There is. This not working. Sure. Like if White tries here to capture the pawn on a5, and then to tries this position to play in the end game, the a1 square is dark as the bishop, so it's not drawn.
Yeah, it's the right color. Yeah, just to give. Yeah.
Oh wait. Okay.
I don't know how to bring that question, but yeah, I think the chat understands it. Yeah. Chat is smart and strong.
And that's lovely emojis here for Prague. Yeah, Prague is legend doing all these things. Like, okay, maybe he didn't do 100% today, but he held this for 2 days in a row among the best junior players, right? These guys are just the hope of chess. So it was not easy for him.
Absolutely. I think Christopher Yu is one of the strongest players. He's rated only 2455, which is, I think, shockingly low considering how strong he is. Due to the pandemic, not a lot of tournaments. He could easily be 2550, 2600. Yes. And also should be a grandmaster, I think, for sure. It's a bit embarrassing that I'm rated higher than him because I think he's definitely stronger than me.
You're old wolf, okay? You were there before everyone. So don't compare yourself to.
Thank you for bringing home the truth in such a brutal way.
The thing is that everything is getting new life.
It's a draw. It's a draw. Knight into c5, rook into a3. Yes, Vaishali has drawn.
Wow. She tried really hard.
This was the position. Yeah, I think she's done fabulously. And here after knight d7, king b5, apparently black had a move. I don't know which move it is, but something that gave an advantage for black. Maybe bishop d4, because you cannot take this pawn. And the knight is protected by the rook. But Murjin couldn't find it within the seconds that he had. And it ended in a draw. I think that's a very good effort by Vaishali. She was worse and she defended, she resisted, she showed resilience and made a draw.
Yeah, nicely played. From the moment when we thought that it's that's over, she tried to activate the king and.
But how did this go from this g4 point? G4, bishop into g5, g into f5, a into f5, queen into f5, bishop e7. This is the position we were kind of discussing, yeah? And Vaishali went in with all guns blazing. She played d5 here, c takes d5, and now e6.
Oh, nice. Oh, but the g2, the king is quite open too, right? On g file.
Yes, the king is quite open on the g file, but right now none of the black's pieces have access to the king. So it's quite far away. And she was threatening moves like knight e5, rook into d5, and things like this. I think it's not so accurate what she played, but it's very interesting. Murjin decided to trade the queens with queen c8, and her initiative kind of just petered out after this move. So from here on, it was her kind of struggling for a draw, which she managed, I think, quite brilliantly. It was amazing defense by her. She really resisted well.
Wow, they made tons of moves after that, and yeah, nicely played.
Yep, nicely played. You were saying something, Katie, earlier?
Oh yeah, I was just telling that everything gets so young, right, in many fields, and so the chess as well. Like these kids, we call it kids, but they are like playing like adults.
Monsters.
They are getting their norms at very young age, like in average, right? Of course, there have been some talents back then too, but now average age of these norms just decreased very much.
Yes, definitely. And the records keep getting broken more and more. Do you think we would ever see a 10-year-old grandmaster?
Yeah, I'm sure. By the time when we are old, we can still see.
What do you mean by that, Katie? I thought
Like,
that
I
was a
don't know,
present
by like
time.
70, 80 people. Just watching commentary on the screen and texting chat. Do you know who's this? No idea. Some other commentators with computers on the side. So yeah, I am sure. You don't agree with that? That there will be someone who will like get this title by age of 10?
I think it's not easy. It's not easy to get a 10-year-old grandmaster. At some point, it becomes too young, I think. And also, FIDE is going to make it harder to become a grandmaster, from what I hear. So it's going to get more and more challenging. Good thing I became a grandmaster before that happened. They kept threatening me, that it's going to go from 2500 to 2550. And I was struggling to even make 2500 at that time.
No.
But thankfully, I managed to make it.
Yeah, it's although there is some little push for junior players, right? They are getting more ratings when they're winning the games. And for us, it was hard. We were just collecting. Myself, I was counting like 5 points, 10 points, because I couldn't win. And these kids, they can play one good tournament and get 90, 80 points in one tournament. This is just unbelievable. And they have these chances to get the norms easier than we used to, right? For this, for instance, for you,
Yes,
it was
true.
hard to get 2500, right? And for
True.
for now, if they are like at the international master average play, they can easily get 2500 with this scoring. What do we have now?
True. Yeah, it has become. I mean, it's because
Michael Geary would be 8-year-old grandmaster. Okay, one of Geary's kids would be for sure young grandmasters. Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that because typically, not a lot of chess players, not a lot of chess parents have their children playing chess.
yeah, because kids are getting interested in many other fields. But just imagine that if Danny or Michael wants to play chess, they have already the best variations in any opening. They
I'm not.
just
I'm
have
not sure. I'm
everything.
not sure if that would be helpful for them.
No.
Too much information.
Yeah, too much. Overloaded.
Yeah. I'm guessing that would just be Queen's Gambit accepted, and Nairov, and all these openings at their home.
Okay,
The
so because
first,
also doing some video courses, they will also know from mom. So yeah, they have very good backgrounds and very good genes.
yeah. So Pico
I
did
bet money on
Queen's
them.
Gambit accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just posting the story on Instagram
Yeah.
while we are
The
talking,
question in the
which I forgot.
yeah, sure. Don't forget to tag me. I have a question here. If why Hikaru is not playing? Hikaru is this is junior tournament, right? The oldest I think is about 24, 25. So Hikaru is not fitting here anymore in this age group category.
Yeah,
And
even I'm too old for this tournament.
yeah. So that is the reason mainly.
Have you ever done a stream with Hikaru so far?
Oh no. I've never done stream with him. Never.
Cool. Okay, I think I shared it with the link.
Oh, meanwhile, maybe we can take the scores and the standings at the screen, and we can take a look what's going on after this round, if possible. Oh yeah, good.
Yep. In the meanwhile, the next round, Prague is playing against Vincent Gamer with the black pieces. And Vincent is just 1 point below Prague, but he has played one game less. Vincent has 8 out of 9, Prague has 9 out of 10. So this game is going to be really interesting. What are your thoughts?
Well, this is very important game, and Prague is getting here. Like we were talking about how good is pairings for him, as he has not played yet top 4 players. Today he started with ranked number 3, but he also gets the white colors against the main opponent, right? So this is when little details like this, little lacks, small lacks are on your side, it's a huge boost.
Also another interesting and important detail which we should note, Christopher Yu has defeated both Vincent Kamer and Prague. So the rest of the field he plays, although he's in the third spot and has less points, he has a relatively easier field for the rest of the tournament. So he's very much there within contention. Yeah, it could be any of these 3 wonderful, lovely kids who can win this event.
Yeah.
Who is your money on?
Sorry?
Who is your money on between
money? I really support in this tournament. Prague, because this is like whenever you have such tournament,
because this is the India channel. Yes, I understand.
I want to keep the job. No. No, I can be neutral, but my opinion is according the practice what I have and what I have seen is that when you have very lucky tournaments and very good tournament, not only lucky but very good tournament, it's just adds in a way. You might slip in at some point, but you will get it back. I think for Prague, draw will also make him to breathe a little bit, like to move on from the lose. But he's with wait, he's not with white pieces?
No, Prague is with the black pieces. Vincent is white, and we do have the players on the screen.
But on the other side, it says it's Prague is with white.
Where? On Chess 24?
Yeah, the running games.
Oh, yeah. This is interesting.
This is
interesting. Yeah, now they have changed it. Yeah, yeah. So they played a prank on you.
Yeah.
I don't know how this happened because I thought the PGN will be kind of common. So yeah, guys, Prague versus Vincent Kiemer. This is like the WrestleMania clash, the center stage of this event. And Prague is not someone who holds back. So what is your guess of the openings, Katie? I know that Vincent will come up with a very solid opening with white, but what do you think?
Honestly, I don't know what they are playing. What's their favorite moves? But I really think that we will not see something strange because they both know lines very well. And they're preparing very well these openings.
Well, you can say we won't see something strange, or you can just be honest and say that we won't see 1b3. I know that's what you meant.
I'm still hoping for the invitation at the Indian wedding. So if I don't get any, then I will join you. I'll team up with you.
Then you go for Team Catalan, yes?
Yes, that's it.
I'm pretty sure you're not going to get invited.
Really?
Not after that stream we did on my channel, on our channel.
Yes. We'll see.
The earring still rings in AD's memory.
Well, I'll try my best still to get there. Oh,
So
the games have started, and we have the first move, and we have d4, d5. And yeah, they're going to the main
Queen's Gambit
line.
accepted Sopiko's chessable lifetime repertoire.
Yeah.
It's amazing how I started remembering openings these days. Previously I would remember a game after some opening, but now it's Nairov and Anisha's chessable repertoire and Semi-Tarash. Oh, Surya's chessable repertoire. Queen's Gambit accepted. Oh, and Catalan.
Yeah.
Oh, my repertoire.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, these courses are like very good ambassadors of the openings. That's true.
Yes, and Chessable has done such a fabulous job that they have covered every opening that is there in chess, I think, and now they have more than one author doing courses on the same opening. So if you want to do a 1B3 course, you might have a chance, but I don't see why you want to do that.
Yeah. Why he's not moving? It's move 3 and he's thinking.
Because Prag has never played the Queen's Gambit accepted before, as far as I remember.
You mean that he was ready for this? He was probably ready because Prag is the one of the main opponent, and
no, but Prag has never played this opening before, I think.
Yeah, so
Prag has never taken.
Vincent knew what Prag is playing.
Yeah, he was expecting something else, probably e6. And when he took d into c4, he was surprised, and now he's thinking which variation to go for. Oh, no.
They were.
It just, the PGN didn't get updated.
All right. I played this opening 3 with white. And in some points, white might get isolated pawn, and the things can get really nice for both sides. I like to play this with white because it suits me very well. This queen e2, rook d1, then bishop g5, bishop b5. We can get this bishop on light square bishop on the b1 h7 square. What black is doing, black is usually trying to block this pawn. And knight before knight d5. Oh no, he captured. So he's okay to go in the end game where he doesn't have a big advantage, right? D takes c5 is not the move that white is looking for a big advantage, like sharp game.
Yeah, I think that is very much in Vincent's chess style in general. He likes to get these small strategic advantage, and he likes to grind his opponent, kind of like Nihal. They both have a similar strategic style, Vincent and Nihal, and I think Prag is like more dynamic. He likes to have more chaos on the board. So there are two things. One is, in general, after short castle and the Queen's Gambit accepted, black can either go a6 or knight c6, and a6 is the better move, because when you commit this knight to c6, in the typical endgames, he need not have played a4, he can take dc5 here as well. But in these typical endgames, this knight on c6 is not as well placed. The knight is better placed on d7, because the knight on c6 kind of stands in the way of this bishop. It messes up the coordination of black's pieces. So for this reason, when black goes knight c6, it's a good idea for white to take d into c5 in the Queen's Gambit accepted positions.
But how about just to get this bishop developed to bishop d7, bishop e8, just like to wait for a bit?
Yes, this is another way.
Yeah.
This is another way of doing things. But what white would do then, like when you go king e7, now he might potentially start creating threats against the other pieces. Like the king on e7 impedes this bishop from coming back. So one move that I can think of is maybe knight g5, to put this knight on e4 and attack this bishop and open up the b2 bishop.
Mhm.
So this is how you create problems in these kind of questions for black to solve.
Yeah. But I think, as we expected, this game will be very quiet, right? It will not be some fireworks here. Just they will play some endgame.
Yes, it will be. I think it will be. It will. It is going to go a bit slow initially before getting accelerated. Any other game catching your eye, catching your fancy? There is the other Indian game between Leon against Aditya Mittal. It's an Indian derby, but this question is also, I think, very strategic. And black actually has, I think, a pretty decent position. Short castle, rook e8. Typically, white likes to get his knight onto e5 in this structure, but e5 is well protected by black. So I think he has completely neutralized the game so far, and it seems pretty equal to me.
Yeah, this is the line, right? Up till until here, and white is then trying to get knight e2, knight f4,
Yes.
or knight g3, knight f5.
Yes, exactly. Either of these two moves, yeah.
And black usually plays knight e4, which is quite unpleasant. Is this knight e4, or black just waits a bit, like rook c8, queen e7, and so on?
You can do either of these, I think. Rook c8. I would wait a bit before playing knight e4, because when you commit this knight to e4, um, it can weaken this d5 point, and there could be some d into c5 related stuff. Maybe even here, maybe I can take this d into c5, and generally black prefers to recapture with the pawn, but here there could be potentially some way to. Now you take with this pawn, yeah. So that there's queen into d6, uh, e into f3, and now queen g3. In the end, white wins this pawn.
Yeah. Sri, very interesting thing is happening on the ladies board. Maybe we can get in there. Vaishali against Kilbasa.
Oh yeah, I could change it to the Vaishali board, but why shall I? It's a bad joke by Anish. But because it's Anish, even his bad joke became a good joke.
Yeah, these guys are creating the fashion. So Sri, what happened to d6 pawn? Like it disappeared on the board early from the.
Yes, it started with this classical Sicilian. This is the classical Sicilian with the knight to c6. The other move is a6 here, which is the knight off, and then g6, which is dragon. Both these moves have a course by Anish. Knight c6, on the other hand, there's a course by Sam Shankland on Chessable. Bishop b5, one of the lesser known moves. Knight c6, people usually go bishop g5 or bishop c4. So bishop b5, one of the lesser known moves. Bishop d7, and now bishop g5. So what white is doing is she has invited this bishop to d7, covering the d6 pawn from the queen's defense, and now she goes bishop g5. Here e6 would lead to one of the popular lines that starts from bishop g5, e6, bishop b5, and bishop d7. This would transpose into that, but Vaishali instead plays g6, and after bishop into f6, into f6, the d6 pawn gets really weak. So white tries to put her knight on b5. Bishop c4 clears the way for that. Bishop g7, knight to knight d b5, short castle, knight into d6, and white has won this pawn, but black does have a powerful pair of bishops and a lot of potential counter activity coming up. So f5 is, I think, one move that comes directly to my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually the pair of bishops compensates very well the pawn in opening, in middle game, and also in the end game. But the thing is that now white's has to castle, right? The king is in the center. And do you think that black might also think to trap the knight on d6, like to limit the knight on d6, like a6 move or queen c7 and so on?
Yeah, f5 played short castle, and queen c7. You have to be careful with some knight db5 related threats. A6 to me it looks a bit too slow. I think black should try to be a bit more energetic here. Try and get pieces out faster.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that this g6 reaction was the best against bishop b5?
I'm sure it was prepared by Vaishali. I think she has some idea on what she should play here. So f5 short castle, and now maybe knight e5.
Yeah, knight e5 was played.
No. I made that move.
Really?
The live board is bottom right. The
Knight
center
e5
board
is
is
on the board 3. We
Oh
can
yeah,
wait.
95 is on the board. Now it is on the board. And now bishop c6 coming up, and I think Vaishali has a good position, yeah, despite being pawned down. What do you think?
Sorry, what?
I think Vaishali has a good position despite being a pawn down.
Yeah. I think it's a full compensation. That's for sure. Like there can be some games, some moves like I don't know, knight g4 to queen c7, or just to capture the pawn on e4, and then to open up the light square bishop c6. And this knight on d6 looks really good, but I kind of have a feeling that it might be under some, the knight might be limited there at some point. And I really like this idea, queen c7, knight g4, to start to call some weaknesses on the king side. And in general, this bishop on g7 is very active bishop, and it doesn't have any opponent. So in any position, this bishop is just a monster. So it easily compensates the pawn.
Right. So I think we can conclude that Vaishali has a good position here. Maybe get back to the Prug-Vincent game, where Vincent seems to have got a slight advantage. How did this happen? Shall we go from where we left?
Yeah, let's do it.
So skipping the b3 move and moving right past it, short castle. And here Vincent shows a very instructive way of how to strategically operate in this position. Knight to d2, because d6 is always one of the weak squares in this position, and white can access it from the knight on e4, which would typically be hindered if the black bishop was on b7. But with this knight on c6, you cannot get that. Prug stops it with rook d8, but bishop b2, defending the d1 rook and insisting on knight e4 anyway. Bishop d7, knight e4, takes, bishop e7, and knight d6, attacking the b7 pawn and forcing black to give up one of his bishops, which Prug has to do. He obliges. Rook into d6, bishop e8. And now it's really important that white retains at least one pair of rooks. So you don't want to go rook d1, because after rook into d6, rook into d6, rook d8, if both these rooks get traded, then the chances of a draw goes up that much higher. So it's ideal to retain one pair of rook into d8, rook into d8, and now bishop c3, controlling this knight on c6, king f8, king f1, and I think this is like Vincent's dream position to try and press on.
Yeah, the style. It's important to have a position which suits your style. And here, white can try to activate the king and then to get some more space advantage on the king side with e4, f4, e5, even g4. Sometimes we might see that. White can also prepare at some point to push the pawns on the queen side. And black doesn't have much of the choices here. Black's idea might be here to trade pieces, like at least to trade. If black manages to trade bishops or knight for bishop or rooks. Any trade will be just less stress. For now, there is no any weakness in black's position. Only white has advantage. White has advantage of pair of bishop and more space. And in this kind of position, space means a lot. White's pieces are more active and they create more danger for black.
Absolutely. I think perfectly summed up, beautifully explained.
Thank you, Sri. I know the pain. I sometimes play these positions.
With black?
Yeah, I don't know. I accidentally get some. I like to play these positions with white because I think it also suits very well my chess character, because I can move around and get more space and do some things. I like to have space, but
on the chessboard, yeah?
Accidentally it turns sometimes that I also have this position with black. So yeah.
So you play the Queen's Gambit Acceptor as well?
I don't play, but I don't know why I'm getting these positions, to be honest. What's the reason for it? Yeah, happens.
Yeah, and the reason why Prag is taking such a long time is because it's really hard for him to improve any of his pieces further. He cannot move his king because the g7 pawn would hang. He cannot play f6 because white can then take the pawn on e6. And he cannot play... he cannot move the rook because the rook is already well placed. If the knight moves, then potentially some bishop b4. So
yeah, 97 is beautiful move. Like you want to push b4, you want to play 95, but then bishop comes on b4 and you need to lose some tempo here to unpin the knight, which not so easy to spot. Rook c7, but still you can't get out of this pin yet, because f6 pawn is not the correct move. e6 is hanging. So when these kind of positions are very tricky, because you are spending more time than your opponent. For white, it's very easy. White can play a4, white can play f4, king f1, king e2. It's easy. White can also move the pieces back and forward. For black, it's not easy. You have to think for every move. You have to find the squares for these pieces, and you are spending more time. And then you might lose the game, not because of the position, the weaknesses, but because of the mistakes you are making in the time pressure.
Right. And Prag has decided that he has had enough, and
enough is enough.
Kind of gives up the pawn, but I don't think white can actually take it, because after bishop into g7, black wants to respond with f6, and now this bishop has no good way back. Yeah.
No, I like this.
Which is what Prag prepared for with h5, because if he started with king e7 and allowed the bishop to take this pawn, then after f6, potentially white had some g4, g5 incoming, and the bishop gets rescued. Yeah, the bishop goes back. So he starts with h5, king e2, king e7, and now Vincent can't quite take the g7 pawn. So he was preparing for king e7 with h5. That's thinking 2 moves ahead.
Yeah, very nice. So f6 can be the next move, not g6. That would be very bad move for black here. f6 looks okay. And then you can slowly activate your bishop as well, bishop g6 or bishop f5 to prepare some e5. And I think the ideal here is if black managed to trade the light square bishop, then it will be opposite color bishop, and it can be bigger chance to make a draw.
True. So how does white try and keep the advantage? How does white try and keep the pressure? I really like this move, bishop d3. He moves the bishop away and tries to put it on the central square. He wants to put it on a better square, because on c4 it is kind of biting on this e6 pawn. It's not actually doing any useful function. So he goes bishop d3 with the idea of bishop e4. I think this is trademark strategic play of Vincent Keimer.
Mm-hmm. I know it's very, very tricky to play with the pawns in the end game. But what do you think about a5 here to get b4 square for the knight and to activate the knight?
A5. Interesting move, but something I would um take with a pinch of salt. So bishop
Yeah, bishop
e4.
e4. This is not very pleasant, but how about just to try to play rook c7, b6. Let's play b6.
You love mowing that b pawn, don't you?
Don't to give up the pawn.
Yeah, and now rook c1.
All right, you tricky. Yeah, and we should not forget that white might have sometimes these bishop g7 moves. If
Yeah, this looks very unpleasant for black.
Yeah. Okay.
So he goes f6, try and get some control of the dark squares, but I think bishop e4, continue with bishop e4. Really like how Vincent is playing here. He's playing exactly according to his strength and the exact type of position where he can potentially outplay Prag. So I think going back to this moment, this Dean to c5 was a really clever choice by Vincent, which really showed. I'm using the word really a lot of times, but I think it showed fantastic understanding of both the opening as well as his opponent, and he's playing for two results here. Either a win or a draw. It's impossible to lose with white here, and once again, this is like the dream situation. Yeah,
you have to try
have the
a lot
insurance
to lose this. Like only way to lose it is if you blunder something.
Yeah, if he.
Oh, there we go, knight a5. I was thinking about knight a5 to open up the rook, but I like this move more.
But it comes at the cost of a pawn.
Yeah,
it doesn't come free. It comes at the cost of a pawn, but Prag can freeze arms a bit. His pieces can move around a bit. So I'm not entirely sure if Vincent saw this, whether he allowed this on purpose. If he had seen this, maybe he wouldn't have played b4. Maybe he would have protected this bishop. Knight e5, I think, is a really neat trick. And
yeah, I like this rook c1 move because also that pins knight on c6. Like you cannot freely move the knight away because there is bishop f6 or bishop b4 check, and you might lose some material here. So I really like this rook c1 move.
Yeah, I think Vincent slipped up here. Vincent was outplaying Prug strategically, but he misses his little tactical trick. Both the players having their strength and demonstrating it in spectacular fashion.
Yeah. Yeah, this
A5,
I think
nice
this game
move.
is the most important for this tournament because one who gets the advantage here by the scores will keep that advantage, right?
Yes, true. Then the other has to play catch up. The other is under pressure, has to win all the games, and the person who's leading can just sit back and let the opponent take the risks and exploit it. So, chat, what do you guys think? Will Prag be able to save this game or not? Bishop c6, g3 expected. Bishop c6 was attacking the g2 pawn. G3 played. Now, if black plays rook b3, white always has rook b1. And this endgame should be better for white because the king has direct access to these dark squares.
Yeah, draw. Yeah, many people in chat thinks it's going to be a draw. So I think draw is very safe with black pieces with quite hard positions. It's very hard position to play. Like I'm sure any player would like to have less material or sharp position, like attack on the king side, rather than to have this position when it's only opponent who plays for a win.
Absolutely. And with rook b2, Vincent defends everything that Prag can throw in the second rank.
Can we do bishop b5 here, Sri?
Yes, you can. You can play bishop b5. This goes into this rook endgame, but I think this should be a big advantage for white. King f3, king e4, king d4, and this king would go direct to the b7 pawn and try to take this.
Yeah.
So that the a pawn would become really strong if you take this b7 pawn. That's the advantage of having these advanced pawns in the end games. It becomes a very dangerous passed pawn when you
Mm-hmm.
have them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also,
So
it's better to keep this bishop on c6 because it cuts the c file, so we cannot really access to the queen side with by the control
yes.
of the bishop.
So I think Prague will keep both the rook and the bishop to try and create maximum counterplay. Meanwhile, White will probably just advance his king. It's not an easy position to win as White because Black constantly keeps having a lot of counterplay, and you have only 30 seconds with the 5-second increment. So there are a lot of tricks that are potentially possible. Let's say I play Rook D1 here, and if you go King D4, then after Bishop D5, it's very hard to come out of the spin. You can defend with Rook B3, but then Black just waits with some move. And after King E4, there's always Bishop C6 check, King D4, Bishop B5. So this would be a draw.
Yeah.
He goes H4. See what Prag is doing. Yeah, he's trying to get this pawn to H3, the Bishop on G2, and
Okay.
capture the H1.
He's trying to win. Hold on, is Winston going to drop this rook? No, it's impossible to drop the rook.
Well, but he can still play Rook B3 and King B2. Yeah.
In rook bishop d5 can kick the rook back, and if how not even here, so like h3. Let's keep this plan. Although in the game bishop d5 was played.
Yeah,
But
and now Rook B3.
now bishop d5, we just win attempt.
And just King B2.
And
Rook to B1 check.
That's what I was looking to. You just
nice.
cut yourself in there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think at this point Black is worse. There are some ideas for Black as well, even in this position. Seems like White has active king and whatsoever, but I don't think Prague feels that he's losing anymore.
True. I think he started having some very real counterplay. Yes, the pawn has reached H3. This will be a very important tool for counterplay in the endgame, especially if it reaches a situation where this H2 pawn falls. And White would ideally like this bishop to be on D3 so he can advance this pawn, but he's not able to get it practically. And these pawns on E4 and E5, they are a bit cosmetic right now. They are not performing any useful function.
Did you say they are cosmetic?
Yes.
What does that mean? They're cosmetic.
It means they just... Whoa, what's happening? Rook A2 wins? Yes, Rook A2 wins. He's missed it. He had to go back with the bishop.
What? Look at their faces. They just realized, both of them just realized, oh my God, Prague. He's nervous.
Yeah, he instantly realizes. And now the pawn on H3 is a disadvantage because the bishop can just go to F1 and take it. And it just lost, completely lost. Even Prague cannot save this.
Yeah.
He's devastated.
Nice fight. He tried so hard, and in the end, it was move 40 something. He just missed it. Oh no. Yes. I feel bad for him. Like,
it's so unfortunate. He so close. He came so close yet so far.
Yeah, everyone in the chat said that it's gonna be a draw, and there was one person who said Prague is going to lose. There was a kind of curse, I think, to Prague. There's only one person. Are you happy now?
Who was that person?
Let me read out the name.
So Vincent has won this game. Credit to Vincent though. I think he played excellently. He kept the pressure on. And at this point, it looked like Prague had survived the worst. He had got this pawn onto H3 and he had started generating some real counterplay. Bishop A4, Rook B2. And here he just had to move the bishop back. Yeah. And he would have kept fantastic chances of counterplay. But he played Rook A3. A small slip up in intense time trouble. And here rook a2 was a key winning move, forcing the exchange of the rooks. He doesn't have rook b3 because of bishop c2. And
yeah, he just, I think he was too relaxed. And we were also saying that this position is no longer in danger. So I think he also felt this way.
maybe he heard you, Katie.
No, I think somebody in the chat cursed him. Not
Nice try blaming someone else.
I did nothing.
Yeah, sure. That's what they all say.
Oh, this is gonna be a draw, right? It's hard to win this game with pair of knights.
Yeah. Yeah, but with this less than 1 minute situation, you never know, because with the knights you always have tricks around.
Yeah, true.
So one pair of pawns exchange, that much closer to a draw. And now what?
Yeah, but it's hard to believe that this, like, if one pawns are off the board, like, also decide who has pair of knight, it's just impossible to win, right? Technically. So
Yeah.
and black
True.
has about 1 minute here, so he will hold this position for sure.
For sure. That's a strong thing to say, but let's see. Let's say I play knight c5 just for fun. What do you do?
Knight c5. Okay, we saw that trick. We move away.
Bishop b6. I give a check.
King f7.
Oh, he goes knight d7. He prefers the less direct approach.
Oh, the situation is getting really really shaky in the standings, and still nothing is clear. So this
Vincent has caught up with Vincent has caught up with Prague, but again, you never know with Prague. He can win all the remaining games, and
and also Christopher is quite dangerous guy. He's doing just fine, like really good, 8 out of 10. This is a great performance, and he managed to beat the toughest guys in the tournament. And he has lost only 1 game and made 2 draws, so it's quite impressive performance from his side as well.
Yeah, and the only game he lost was also due to a mouse slip, a very unfortunate mouse slip. So I think he has just been playing incredibly strong, and if not for that mouse slip, he could be a 9 out of 10. He could actually be leading this tournament jointly.
Yeah. Well, Prague started with 2 zeros this day, and
it can only get better from here.
Yeah,
it can only go high
has to
from
pull
here.
Him together, and he still has some chances. This tournament is so long; it's not still the end, right? Anything can happen. But
True.
Clearly, Vincent has here advantage with the points.
Anything can happen Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Here we have 2 games. This one and the other one. The other games has already finished. They're not making draws. Like, I see all the results so far. That's nice.
Well, they still haven't been completely corrupted by their more esteemed predecessors. That's a good thing. Have you made a lot of these Berlin draws yourself, Katie?
How what?
Have you made much of these Berlin draws? The Berlin draw.
Yeah, Berlin draw. It happens in like about 10, 14 moves, right?
Yeah. Since this game is going to be a draw anyway, I'll just quickly show that. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, knight f6, short castle, knight d4, d4. I'm not such an expert myself. I'm not a 2700. It's because I don't know how to make this draw. I don't remember. So how does it happen? Does it happen with d4? Oh, I've already forgotten this. 2 years of not playing chess, and I forgot the most important identity of a grandmaster. What is it? I mean, what move is it? How does it? How does it?
Here for
I
white.
think, yeah. I think the chat probably knows better. They must have seen it so many times.
There is rook e1, the d4 move. What else is here? Bishop takes c6 is a move?
No.
No.
At least not a popular move. But which is the draw here? Yeah. So d4, knight d6, and here instead of taking and going into the endgame, you take d into e5 first, knight into b5, a4, knight d4, takes. Do you play d5 first or take first? You play d5 first. Yeah. Takes, and now you take the knight. Queen into d4, queen into d6. So it's not so easy to remember this draw. Yeah, I think that's why they are the elite players. They know these things.
Yeah, this is the most famous draw so far. What we have seen nowadays.
Yeah, it's like a champion chess tour signature. It happens every round after the second, third day, after the league, in the second, third day of the league games. As we wait for this game to end, this really can't be anything other than a draw, right?
Yeah, white activated the king, that's for sure. But just imagine if black simply tries to... Oh, if black captures the pawns and sacrifices the pieces, then knight versus pawn is on g6. That's pretty far. And I think white can technically win that position if one knight blocks the g6 pawn there with knight g5 and knight and the king then drops the king in the corner. It is technical chance to win. But yeah, I was studying that positions when I was a kid, and since then I have never studied. So what's the theory there? Is the pawn with g6 winning for white?
I have no idea. I think I would have to check table basis. The two knights against the pawn is something I've never studied myself, and it has also
Really?
never occurred in my games.
It's very hard to get, but I was studying that when I was a kid, and there's some theory that some games are winning. But
why would you want to do that to yourself as a kid?
Huh?
Why would you want to do that to yourself? Oh, wait, what's happening? Knight into f5? What? Is he taking bishop into g5? Are we getting it on the board? I was just talking about the uselessness of this. Oh, and Aditya is just like, hold my drink.
Wait, why he sacrificed the knight if he's not going to take a...
I think he blundered something. Either he blundered that he doesn't have king g6 here,
Yeah,
or he thinks this is a draw with the two knights. But it's not a draw because this pawn is here.
Draw because we have 50 moves rule, right? But as I remember, when the pawn is far away, the knight and king can get the king in the corner, and the knight has time to get closer to the king.
Okay. If the pawn is...
King f6 now is stalemate. But what about knight e6? Then g5.
Now he's repeating the moves.
This endgame, I think, is very interesting to study.
Right. I just key this on to the table basis, and
Mhm.
it is still evaluating.
Yeah, look at the evaluation bar is jumping, it's dancing around. Sometimes it's draw, sometimes it's winning.
Yeah, but I think the stockfish is not entirely reliable in these types of situations.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
he's just pushing the king away. He's pushing the king to the corner, and then he will try and create a mating net where black has to move this pawn. I think white will win this. Chat, what do you think? Let's do a quick poll of the result of this game. If white will win or will it be a draw? How many moves has it been so far, Katie?
Yeah, that's a good
How
question.
close are we to the?
Bishop c1 was the no. Bishop g5 should be the last move. Black made. Bishop b4. Bishop g5 is 103. So it should be 140, 54 will be a draw.
And what move is it right now? Oh, the pawn has moved, so reset the counter.
Okay, yeah. This, oh
I
my
think it's
god,
over.
it's a
It's over. It's
checkmate.
over.
Knight f4, knight
Knight of.
g6. Ah, no. Oh my god. And I said
That's
it's safe
sad. That's just
position.
sad for Aditya.
Wow.
That's just sad for Aditya.
You
It's
think
sad for
he
Aditya, but
didn't know the theory or just he had no other choice? Maybe
no,
he
I think he
wasn't.
just had a brain fade because at this point, I think knight into h4 should just draw.
Yeah. This
This
is so painful.
this is I think this should be just a draw. He just had a brain fade. He took on f4, and now he realized that he messed up. I don't know if he thought the g5 pawn was undefended, or if this was becoming a draw by force. I don't know which of the two, but he just had a brain fade, and that happens when you're under pressure for a really long time. When you have to make accurate moves with just a minute remaining for a number of moves. It's the same example I gave you. Yeah, the
Yeah.
brain gets tired during the course of a chess game. So if you put your opponent constantly under pressure, if you make them solve difficult problems, it causes fatigue, and they will solve the first problem remarkably well. They will solve the second problem quite well. They can solve the first 5 or 6 problems, but the 10th problem at the last minute, at the last hour, it keeps becoming challenging and challenging, and they just cannot endure it after some point. This is how you exert pressure on your human opponents,
Yeah,
and
and
this is what people do at the.
what is very important, by the time you're getting more experience and more age, you will not lose this kind of games. Like all these grandmasters who are very well experienced, they will not lose these end games, right? And I think Black just lost this game mainly because not enough experience of playing. He's very young, and you don't have every day this kind of end games, right? It's very very unusual and kind of end game, and all he needs is an experience, and he's getting this experience here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One is doesn't have a general experience, and another probably he uh, he hadn't studied that end game as much as he should have.
Guess who else did not study it?
But
You.
I was just talking. But Katie, I know how to avoid getting into those questions. So if you didn't study,
Yeah, okay.
uh, if you didn't study, then you should be adept at avoiding those kind of questions.
Yeah.
So either you work hard or you work smart.
Well, with knight and the bishop, if you know the technique, you can checkmate. But when it's two knights on the board, that's either the position is winning for you or not. You don't really need to have technique there. Just you are limiting the king. And for instance, when we had this g6 pawn, this pawn limited the king, right? King could not get out of the corner. It was like if this pawn was not on g6 but on, I don't know, d4 or somewhere in the center, I think it's still tricky position, but at least the king is not limited, and maybe the opponent cannot really checkmate you in 50 moves. So yeah, and this g6 pawn, black, this is the moment when black just hopes not to have the pawn on the board, and that's gonna be a draw.
Yeah. So the next game about to begin any moment. The players are on the screen. Prag and Abhimanyu always looks intense before a game. Yeah, he could very well be a boxer, I think, with his expressions, if not a chess player.
He's a very sweet guy. Remember when he was our guest? You were here as well, or it was me and
Yeah. I do remember. Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, it was me and AD, and it was like he might not have the best impression on us. But yeah, if you were here, that's all right. Yeah, he was very nice, nice guy, and I like him. I like him. He's very polite, and he seems like he's under some ice already, and he's trying to deal with that. Oh, g4.
Oh, this is a new move, and this seems like an idea specifically prepared by Prag against Abhimanyu Mishra.
Yeah, and we have seen already the reaction of Mishra. He was like, "Oh." There is one funny meme about chess that how many people are afraid of some, I don't know, some attacks, bomb attacks. How many people are afraid of I don't know, some the accidents, and how many people are afraid of g4. And there are plenty. Whenever this pawn goes forward, I'm so scared myself, because it's just one away to g5, and if you accept it, just like happened in the game, now white will occupy g file, and black has some problems of development and also for a king.
Yeah, again, this is a fine example of how you start exerting pressure right from the beginning. You start setting problems right from the beginning. Your opponent has to consume time and energy in order to try and solve it. And this he might be able to do on the 10th move, but on the 50th move, it gets so much more harder. And if the game goes to 100 moves, then it becomes an impossible task.
Yeah, and look at these face impressions from Mishra that says that he's not comfortable. Like maybe practically it's not something that white is getting big advantage or something, but it works, especially when there's rapid or blitz games. You're just in the better situation than your opponent.
Yeah, Abhimanyu also had to defend a very tough game against the other Indian player that he played against today, Aditya Mittal. And you saw that's what provoked that mistake with e4. You know, when he hung the rook on b8, it's all these early problems that you have to solve, which adds up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a question, why not bishop g5 instead of bishop f4? I think it's a really good question, and also the move can be good, but
But it covers the rook on
yeah,
g1.
exactly.
Yeah?
So black can quickly develop the bishop e7, and
Yeah. So that's why he prefers to have the bishop on f4, pawn on e4. He has a good center now.
Mm-hmm.
c5 is a move that comes to your mind, but I think against c5, Prag probably intends d5, e into d5, and here there should be some e5, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just going after the king, yeah,
Yeah,
or even castle long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
There is a furious attack on black's king, and most of his pieces haven't yet developed.
Prague looks really sad on the screen. I think he has nothing to be sad. He's he's really hero of this tournament, and we still remember his great
No, actually,
performance.
Prag's hand looks like a claw. No, it's literally it's
Looks like
like how a lion's claw.
claw,
Now he has changed it, but
claw or pawn.
no, it was a claw. It was a claw
Claw?
for sure. And Brishti Mukherjee says D5, then B4. Yeah, I think B4 is the typical way how you act against D5 in these types of positions. White has to probably move the knight to A4 and now A into D5. And I guess you have to capture back E into D5. But my point is there might be some knight B6 here. Maybe queen into D5, knight B6. Oh, D into C5, I don't like. D into C5. Now the problem is takes, and knight. No, it's not a problem. You have to take on C5, but this allows rook G7. So
And
what
this
is
is
the...
quite surprising, right? It's really like he's trying to trade the queens.
Yeah, after playing G4. So I think he clearly didn't understand the position from the opening.
Yeah.
And why is this so bad for black though? Like, sorry, for white. Like takes bishop into C5. Okay. Rook into G7. There's knight H5. I think he missed this.
Yeah, can
You
be.
have to go rook G4.
You can first, like if you're so desperate for that pawn, you can first play bishop b8 intermediate move.
Here.
Bishop b8.
Yeah. Bishop B8. Rook into B8.
Yeah, that gives nothing for white, I guess. Why black has a pair of bishop. Knight h5, knight h4 is still the move.
Yeah.
This might be a blunder, right? From white. Bishop c5 on the board. We will learn about that. He's not making his move very fast. I think we just guessed that it was misplaced. I don't think he's going to capture g7 pawn.
Yeah.
How about rook c1 just to keep going?
Knight bd7.
And something like a4 or
b4.
b4. We're losing d4. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Sorry for giving you that tough position with white. No, but I think Prague simply has a bad position here.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that he was in his books because still home preparation, because he had like 9 minutes and he didn't spend too much of time. And now he's starting to think. So yeah, seems like d takes c5 was a bit wrong move.
Yeah, d takes 6 was. I think Prague is really starting to. No, I sense something starting to change in Prague's chess starting from this year, which typically happens when you grow from a child to a teenager. You start thinking about more things. Your brain starts thinking about more things. You start taking in more pressure, and I think Prague is starting to develop some of these more mature emotions, and maybe he's starting to feel more pressure. He's starting to get more upset after losing a game, because previously Prague would remain unmoved no matter what. He would recover really quickly from defeats. He wouldn't let the pressure get to him no matter what. It's a difficult phase. Yeah, the teenage is a difficult phase.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like myself, I also experienced that, and I understood that I was at some point I just get more scared of the position. Like by scared, I don't mean that I was shaking and I was sweating, but I mean that I was like, oh no, this position is not good for me. And when I was younger, I was fighting, I was sacrificing some nonsense situation pawns and so on, but I knew there was a sacrifice that was scary and I was making it work. And when I was older, I was a bit scared of do that things. And yeah,
Yes.
maybe he has this age, like when you are getting into the different phase of your life.
Also, I used to start thinking about all kinds of issues around this point after I turned 14, around 15. For example, about, oh my God, if I lose this game, then this tournament is going to get messed up. Or, thinking about financial issues and these kind of things. I used to start thinking about all these things only when I got into my teenage. When I was a kid, below 10 years old, below 12 years old, I used to just go up and play chess and not worry about the consequences. I used to just enjoy chess completely.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's true. That was when I was a kid. My coach was always telling to my mom that my mom was observing the situation at the playing venue, but she doesn't know chess, so she cannot evaluate I was winning or not. And she was thinking that I was winning because I was sitting, very straight and ready to fight. And when my coach was telling her that I was completely losing, like I have no chance, she was also always being very suspicious, like, are you sure? And then they made this conclusion that I was not feeling that I was losing. I thought that I was winning and I was fighting. That's why I was still in this.
Ignorance is bliss. Yeah.
So yeah, this might happen. How old is he now?
I think he's exactly 16. Yeah, he's 16. Nihal is 17, Arjun is 18. Arjun has actually turned 18, which is remarkable considering how he behaves. He still behaves like a baby, but is officially an adult.
Who?
Arjun Erigaisi. He reached the quarterfinal of the champion chess tour.
Okay.
Chat, meanwhile, here is a question for you. Black to play? What do you play here? Until we get back to chess, there is more than one good answer here, so feel free to uh, make your choice. Actually, there's not one more than one good. There's only one good move here, so be careful. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, like when you watch these children as not literal babies. Arjun was already a teenager, but they were really young. They were really kids when I saw them first. And
Old already.
now they are becoming adults, like proper adults. And you start, yeah, it's a very interesting experience. Okay, not a proper adult, of course, still behaves like a baby, but legally an adult.
Yeah.
Most of the chat coming up with the right answer. King f8 is the move because you want to attack both these pieces at once. If white takes knight into h8, then after king into g7, the h8 knight is trapped and black wins a piece. On the other hand, if you move the knight, you have this plethora of awesome discovered attacks. So if you move the knight, you think you're winning something, but there is knight d6 check. So this wouldn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone got correct.
Yes.
That's right.
Except a couple of
really
people.
interesting thing is happening in the game of Pavel Tetzlav against Leon. Can we go there? It's a typical sacrifice. It's up, up, up.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh, nice spot. This is a nice spot. Oh, there is a nice comment by Aditya Gupta in the chat. Some babies are about to get married too.
Babies. Adult
That you
babies.
think was a good joke, yeah?
Yeah.
I think you're a very good judge of jokes. When you don't find a joke funny, you just don't laugh. I've
No,
noticed
the
this.
thing is that sometimes I don't hear. That's why I'm trying to repeat, because I think at some point I have to buy speakers, so I will have additional source of voice, because I'm struggling so much to hear, and I'm not buying this. I have to buy it. I have to buy it next week maybe. So that's why I'm missing some of the things. That's why I don't understand those jokes.
So when you ignore AD's jokes, It's because you don't hear them, yeah, not because you don't find them funny.
I hope so. I don't know. I don't heard it, so I don't know. And you cannot ask, like, can you repeat when it's a joke? Like, no one wants to repeat it. It's just at that moment.
Yeah. So how do you explain this bishop d5 sacrifice on the board?
Yeah, bishop d5 sacrifice is very typical here in Sicilian defense, and the idea is to get d5 and f5 square for knights, and then knights are getting into the game, and it's quite dangerous. So here, black just simply ignore that. White can move this bishop, or white can even keep this bishop here, because bishop b7 doesn't create a trade bishop d5. That's just a trade, and white is okay with that. So we might see some other move here for white. Yeah,
Like rook f1.
yeah, rook f1 makes, you just made it.
Yeah, I just made it.
Sense to open up e file. Because if not rook e1 here, and if you get this bishop backwards, then b4 will lose a pawn on e4, so it's not into white's plan. Bishop e6 is not possible. I think rook e1 here makes sense, and it's quite logical move.
Yeah, keep your options open, yeah. But rook e1, maybe I just go short castle.
Yeah, can do that. Oh, white capture.
Oh, he has taken it. Yeah. No, I think Leon has things under control. He seems to be doing okay.
Yeah, this bishop b5 or d5 was just a test, I think, how black would react. Then it's not hanging on e4, right? If knight c takes e4, then bishop f6, intermediate capture, and then knight can't capture back because b7 queen is hanging.
Right.
But black can simply castle.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, black can simply castle and.
Yeah, I think it's quite okay position here for black.
Yeah, completely safe, I think. And how is Vaishali doing? Against Gunay Mamadzada, who has actually played a few impressive games this tournament so far.
This is nice. The knight on d6, look at this. But what happens after bishop e7? Because f4 just calls this move, you know.
Queen f3.
Queen f3, take. What's your idea? I saw it.
Yes.
I saw it. Tricky.
You saw it a bit too late, yeah?
I told you I lost this sense.
Is it after your commentary with AD?
Not because of AD, come on, because of you.
What did I do? Because of the chat, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, apologies about that. So queen f3, you can go king h8, yeah? No, I think it's because of chat, because I did it for the chat. It's not because of me. You have to blame the chat.
No, I don't blame chat.
I'm innocent.
What is here?
Yeah, king h8 played.
Yeah. Can we?
Yeah, here is where I got stuck.
The knight is stuck there, right? We can take
Queen e3 and keep the pressure on e6.
I was thinking about rook e3. Rook e3, you want to rook lift if the opponent allows, but if you capture, now rook e1 and rook a e1, and why you do that?
Why did I do what?
I thought you would play rook e8, and I was ready to play queen d5. Oh, bishop d5, bishop d5.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
So when you guard it from the 6th rank, There is still weakness on the 8th rank, but that's not enough.
Yeah, because after takes rook e8 check, here black can just go back rook f8.
Yeah, it's not enough.
So yeah, I think Vaishali is forced to play queen e3 here, and I think black is doing fine here. Black is doing fine.
Yeah, white has to speed up a bit because it's a huge time difference on the clock. 3 minutes at this position is a lot.
Yeah, I think she's very reluctant to play queen e3, or maybe she just hasn't seen the move queen e3. It's just a kind of psychological block. I played queen f3, so I don't want to move that queen again. But in life, you got to do what you got to do. You got to save your pawns. Or maybe she's not sure about losing that f4 pawn, but white does win back the d5 pawn, and then there's queen into d4 check. So queen into f4, you got to play rook d1 and then take the d5 pawn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she goes instead a3, and she's going to play against e6 backward pawn. This also makes sense, right? Just to, there's a weakness, and I'm going to press. You have to guard it, so I'm fine.
Yeah, so I think Vaishali in a bit of trouble. Maybe we'll get back here in some time. Yeah, maybe go back and have a look at the Prague game.
Yeah, Prague is in trouble, and wow, he lost 2 games, and there was a bit of misplaced here in the opening from his side, and now he's struggling to make a draw.
Yeah, sometimes he just completely loses the sense of objectivity. So he kind of makes these any move. Sometimes he tries too hard to win, and trying too hard can also be a problem. It's not you don't always there is an optimal level, yeah, of how much you can try.
Oh, Sri, we have also a very interesting situation in the game of Vincent Kemar. He's playing against Lea Garifielina, and I think he's struggling here.
Oh yeah, I noticed this. He's been having this position for a long time with his king on d6, protecting the d pawn from moving forward, and also there are these passed pawns on the b file, which is also held securely by black. So he's in. Oh, and how does this equalize? Yeah, you just take this, and it looks like she's losing these pawns. Rook into b4, there's rook c6 check, so you have to play bishop d3 first and then take on b4, which I think he will do. So he's out of trouble, yeah.
You think
He's
so?
out of trouble. Yeah, don't you think so?
How about yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay, well, how about bishop f1?
But I just take the pawns. No?
Check on c6.
I take this also.
Bishop g6. Oh, sorry, rook g6.
Take this also.
Oh yeah, it's getting scary.
It's almost as if Vidit has joined the stream.
Is he joining today?
No, today is not joining.
Today is not. Okay, she goes with g4 here. She wants to break this pawn chain on the king side. Yeah, bishop b7 because rook b4 was not a threat. Now rook b4 is a threat, and there is no rook c6 move. Yeah. Have you ever lost a game just because you were in a bad mood?
So many times in my life.
Yeah, it's also this experience, right?
Sorry?
when you're a kid, you don't have so many reasons to have a bad mood, right?
It depends. It depends. But yeah, I think relatively you have fewer problems in life when you're a absolute kid because your parents take care of everything
Yeah,
usually.
yeah, you don't.
Although for some kids, that itself is a cause of problem.
His parents are taking care.
Parents themselves.
I always wonder those kind of people. I always want to see who are those kind of people.
Yeah, here it looks like Prague is saving this game. I don't think Abhimanyu played this convincingly, and by taking this pawn with only 3 pawns, this drastically increases Prague's chance of making a draw. If there were pawns on both the sides, then the pair of bishops would have been a lot more effective. But with only pawns on the same side, it's not as effective anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think we are petering out
Mishra
towards a
has
draw.
seconds on the clock. This is something that we have to also consider. That Prague just made comeback.
Yeah, Prague has definitely stemmed the bleeding, and now he can even try for more if he's the greedy weedy types,
Yeah, why not?
which he is. Yeah, these kids they never lose a chance to win, to try to win at least.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, now Abhimanyu, I think Abhimanyu doesn't have a lot of practice playing this online speed chess. So I think he's still making a lot of mistakes with only seconds on the clock. Yeah, bishop e2 and now rook g6. So black is holding so far, but white is pressing now. White is trying to create chances and black is just reacting. Maybe king d4 now, then bishop d3, with threats of bishop at f5. All these little things in there.
White can also come back bishop h5 and bishop f7 to try that, but then rook stucks with the bishop, right?
Yeah.
Rook g7, rook g8. If you go rook e8, bishop e8 here.
How?
I mean, yeah, bishop f7
Okay.
and rook g7 and bishop e8. Yeah, he's just following.
Follow the bishop. Stalk the bishop. Yeah, rook g6 and Prague kind of thinking now. Maybe, I think king d4 is one more, but king d4 maybe there's just rook g2. So not exactly the move that exerts the most pressure. Rook b4 check. Where is the rook going? Rook a4. Rook a7, rook h7, and bishop h5. I think, yeah, this is what he wants. He wants to get the rook from the rear and then play bishop h5 and target this h6 pawn. And Abhimanyu, what? He's down to less than a second? No, pigeon is slow to update as usual. Yeah, just king d6. Rook. And now rook a7 check and rook h7. This was his idea. He was... and I don't think Abhimanyu saw this. He's under some serious intense pressure. Yes, the computer thinks it's completely equal, but the pulse of the game is changing. He goes king c5. Bishop h5, what is black's intention here? How is he saving the pawn? Keti.
Oh, that's hard.
I think you have to give up the pawn, yeah? You have to play maybe some
maybe
f4
bishop
check.
rook g5 first. Attack the
h6.
bishop and now f4. And if king captures f4, then bishop rook f5 and we're taking e5 pawn.
Yeah, I think this is the reason why Prague started with h4, not playing the most obvious move and exerting more pressure on Abhimanyu. Rook g1, now he could just take rook into h6. Yes, he's taken rook into h6. Rook h1, holding on to this fortress, but now Prague has very real winning chances. Abhimanyu wants rook h3 check, king d4. He wants the activity of the king, but maybe white can just stop it with f3 and then just play h5.
Yeah. Wow, that's good news for Prague because Vincent Kimari is also just struggling to win the game. So if he managed to win this game, he just wants to boost his confidence that he can win.
Why f4 check now? He wants king d4. Okay.
Oh, nice.
But I'm
Yeah,
not sure
I
if
can
it was
still play
necessary.
h5 here.
Yeah, there's no threat. Yeah, in this I think Prag is going to win this game. Chat, what do you think? And Katie, what do you think?
I think it's winning. Oh, it's the computer says draw, right? The equal position.
Yeah, the computer says 0, but I think practically Prag is just going from strength to strength.
Oh, look what he's doing. He didn't push this pawn, but instead he got this bishop on c2, and he
But
lost
why?
why he did this voluntarily.
Because he wants to support the pawn on h7.
Okay.
He
I
wants
thought
to
he
put the
wanted
pawn on
bishop
h7 and
e4.
move the rook. No, he wants to support this pawn on h7, but black is, I think, in time to stop this.
Yeah.
Now rook g8.
Wow, this is very interesting position.
Yeah,
They're playing
this
both on
can.
these seconds. We're gonna see here a huge blunder. I'm sure with that.
It's not easy to stop this pawn. How do you stop this pawn? Rook c1, h6 check, king h5. You keep giving checks, and so Prag takes his king all the way to g7. He's going all in. He's putting everything he has on this pawn. And after king g7, now I think black has to take it and start moving his own pawn.
Oh, is it winning? King f6, king f7, e5.
No, now there's no. Then you go king e7. Yeah. E5. There's rook e8. Maybe now rook f1 check.
Now king e6. King e6, rook g1.
Sorry. This is the live question.
Yeah, we better.
No, it's a draw. It's a draw.
Wait a moment. Wait a moment. Rook d. Can we get this rook on back on d8? Rook d5 here, Sri.
E4
and rook g5.
But both of us queen at the same time, yeah. And you unfortunately don't have a queen a5.
I need queen a5, yeah. Can it do online chess? You can try over the board, man.
Yes.
Okay.
Only Vidit Gujarati is allowed to make such moves.
That's the best chess video. That's the best chess video. But I don't know why Vidit has such a bad reaction. Come on, he just created the best content for chess. Like he doesn't like a good to reaction. Speak about
People
this.
love him.
Yeah.
Bishop f3 instead of rook c1 at what point, Bristi?
Yeah, this is a draw.
I missed this question on the chat. We'll get back to that in the break. Meanwhile, a couple of very interesting games to show during the break. This game is a draw. Quickly moving on to the Leon game, where this also looks like a draw. The pawn on h6, it's hard to move. It's hard to advance this. So this is one of the live games. But Vincent Kamer has actually lost this game, Katie.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah. He tried to press for a win here and ended up losing.
Oh wow.
I think
things are going on. We don't even know what's gonna happen here because look at the rating difference here.
He lost against I think one of the lowest rated players of the event. Yeah. Although she has scored really well.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. She's doing well.
Yeah, so we'll stick to this Leon game until the game ends against Pavel.
Oh, by the way, I played against her over the board, and she was one of the most annoying opponents that I have experienced. And to be honest, I never want to play against her because during the game, she was talking out of loud. She was calculating moves out of loud.
Wow. But that's a good thing for you, no?
It's not good. It interrupts you. She's not giving you the best lines. She's just talking. I don't want to hear anyone talking during the game unless it's, I don't know, Stockfish. but it was so annoying. I was this close to call the arbiter, but he don't really,
Yeah,
maybe you should
I
call
think
an arbiter.
is she a streamer?
No. She's quite young player, and she played. She beat a lot of title players. I think she also beat Harika there, and she won against many girls. And after the game, we were talking like to each other, and one of my friend who's also a grandmaster, she said that she was so annoyed she lost the game just because of this reason, that she was very much annoyed. So I'm feeling really happy for those other players that they cannot hear her online.
Yeah, I can imagine. Sometimes I wonder if Hikaru would do the same, start bobbing to music and talk while playing over the board. Imagine how that would be. He puts on a streaming face and starts streaming offline.
Hikaru is making some faces and he's very known with that. With his impression, many players are doing. Kasparov is also doing that too, right? But when you're talking out of loud and like, oh come on.
Yeah, no, I mean, Murder 40 starts.
And he was like, oh, she just blundered another pawn. And I was like, oh, hell, I know it. And it was the moment when I was not happy that I could hear Russian, because I could not only was annoyed by her talking, but I could also understand what she was talking.
I know. I'm feeling, yeah. When you regret knowing the language, yeah, because it's a disturbance.
Yep. But yeah, I think when players are young, they are trying to do everything to win the game. But I hope that at some point, everyone, not any particular player, but if they want to play really like professional level, they should not do everything for a win, right? Come on, you cannot interrupt your opponent.
Yes, absolutely.
And you should learn this. Like, I think by the practice, you're just learning all this to respect your opponent, and you're learning more manners.
Absolutely. You just have to, I think you just have to be nice and be respectful and treat others the way you want to be treated yourself.
Yeah.
It's just not just while playing chess, but in general as well.
Yeah. Otherwise, like, okay, everyone has this, peak of the play, but other than that, you need friends, right? Because just imagine if you are in this sport and everybody hates you, it's so wrong. And you don't have friends. It's just so bad.
True.
Yep. All right, but she's doing very well at this tournament, and she just managed to beat the 2600 player, and she has 4.5. But yeah, Vaishali has 6 even though.
I see what Bishti is saying. I think she asks a very interesting question, which I kind of mentally blocked. So what she's asking is, at this point, king into e5, rook f8. Here, Abhimanyu played rook c1, and instead she's suggesting bishop f3 check.
And
you see the point, yeah? If white takes the bishop, then you can take this, and it's the wrong color.
I'm really slow.
I think I really broke your chess.
My sense of reaction.
And if the king moves, I think she intends to go for this, but I don't think people want to go into this rook and bishop versus rook unless they are really forced to. So I think that is the reason. Of course, also he had only 10 seconds, so you can't really look at everything. So this was one of the games, a very interesting game, Prag making a draw. He has 9.5 out of 12. In one of the other interesting games between Balaji against Christopher Yu, look at what happened here, Keti. This was 4 versus 4 and opposite color bishop. And it looks, we have this was 4 versus 4 and we have the opposite color bishop. And now white took bishop into e6.
Yeah, I saw that tree, and white blundered this rook on a7 after bishop e3. That was the first game which ended actually.
Yeah.
Like,
And Vaishali's game was also pretty interesting. Talking about highlights from the previous round. This was the position, yeah. It was so incredibly complex. And here she chose to trade the queens off with queen c4. So this was the position, queen c4 takes. And here white completely lost, sorry, black completely lost the thread of the game. Probably something like f3 was necessary. You had to match the d pawn with your own f pawn and be fast. She played rook d2, d7, rook d8, rook e8 check, and despite having only 2 pawns against 5 pawns, she managed to win this very complex game.
wow, beautiful. But this f3 is such a saving move, right? Sri? Like you are sort of creating this net here. If white goes d7, you would just give a check, king f, oh, even f2.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so possible. F2 is even better. I think white, black is winning here after that.
yeah. It's actually white who has to, I think, find a way to draw here if it exists. Yeah, it's not easy for white after f3, but rook d2 and then things changed. So this was the story of round 12 of the Hou Yifan challenge, and let's have a quick look at the standings before.
Do we have one last round or no?
Yeah, we have one more game today. And Prag is still leading with 9.5 out of 12. Although he has played more games than Christopher Yu and Vincent Kiemer. So he has that one advantage going, and he plays against Leon Mendonca in the 13th round. So that's going to be a very interesting Indian derby to look out for, to watch out for. Prag will have the black pieces. But yeah, I think the top three clearly dissecting the field. Yeah. And Liang Avenda, as I mentioned, he started slow, but he has picked up his pace. He's back there, he's out there with 8 out of 12. And Leon with 6.5, pretty decent performance. But I think Vaishali's performance is very impressive, and she's clearly the top female player in this tournament so far.
Yeah, Vaishali is doing amazing. Look at these 6 points. And this is actually a very good example what we were talking yesterday. If you give female chess players more chance, at some point they will show what they can do. So this is a very good example what Vaishali is doing. She overtook many very strong players, even grandmaster, I say, international masters. So yeah, that's really amazing performance by her. And second female is Lei Tingli, well-known grandmaster and a member of national team. And then the other girls are also doing fantastic. I'm a bit surprised to see Mamazada Gunai on the bottom of the list for now, because she's one of the hopes for female chess nowadays. But still, a lot of rounds is going to happen, and maybe we're gonna see some changes in the start in the list.
Interesting. Yeah, I now that you pointed it out, I'm also surprised at Gunai's bottom place. I think she played quite well. The Queen b1 check, Bishop into e4 check, the spectacular sacrifice that we were talking about was from her game, but it seems like she hasn't had a great tournament otherwise. So all set for the Leon Prague game. The players about to turn up any moment. We are 2 minutes from kickoff, and Prague so far hasn't had a great day. He lost the first 2 games, but he managed to stem the flow of blood with a draw against Abhimanyu Mishra, and will look to end the day with a win and to give himself solid chances to finish first. So the player who wins this tournament will play in the first tournament of the next season's Meltwater Champion Chess Tour. So a lot at stake for these kids here.
Yeah, that's amazing. Price for such a long and tough tournament. And is there also some prize fund for this event? It should be.
Yes. There is a prize fund for all the Challengers Chess Tours events, and in the Hou Yifan challenge. Just give me a moment. Let me.
Sure. Well, that's nice. If
Yeah, it's a $15,000 prize fund for each of these events. The Polka Challenge was in April. The Gelfand Challenge was in June. The Kramnik Challenge was in August, and the Hou Yifan Challenge now in September. And there is a grand final in October from 14 to 17 with a $40,000 prize fund.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a $40,000 prize fund and an invitation to the Meltwater Champion Chess Tour the entire season, not just one tournament.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So one of those junior players can be in the elite tournaments. Wow, that's nice prize. The games have started.
Oh, the games have started.
Yeah. And we're gonna be focused on which game stream?
I think we start with the Leon Prague game, which starts with the King's Indian. I think it's the most probably it's the most anticipated game for today. Yeah, if Prague manages to end with a win or not. But also we'll have an eye on the Christopher U Vaishali game, and of course the Aditya Mittal Pavel Teklaf game, and Vincent Kamer is playing against Balaji Dagupati. So we'll keep an eye on all the games. Are you talking about some party in the chat, Keti? What's going on?
It's funny that I don't remember what's my schedule, but Chad remembers everything. It's after party 3. It's after party. So to stream right after the commentary.
Yeah, I think next time I'll ask the chat first before scheduling our sub battle.
Yes,
I think I'll just ask Sente.
Yes. Yes. Just forgot.
I like White's question here. He has a very strong center, but these are also typical Prague positions where he tries to play for a win by getting into a worse position, but trying to create chances. Not a big fan of this strategy though.
Well, if he feels good, why not to have it? I like this position.
No, I mean, it can be risky.
Mm-hmm.
It can be potentially risky. And that's why.
Oh, she wanted to be invited at the party. I just, oh my God, I'm so slow. I just realized it.
It's okay.
You are always welcome. You're always welcome.
That's what AD also tells you, yeah, about his wedding party.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought that I sounded. Yeah, no.
But I think AD hasn't even extended that courtesy so far. How does it feel? How does it feel not to be invited to AD's wedding?
This is shocking. I'm really, I'm broke. I think I'm broken. Like, don't you remember my reaction? Like,
I do. But are you still? Do you still plan to be friends with AD?
I don't know.
After this,
it's really shaky now.
maybe we can ask chat that question. Do you think AD still has a chance to save his friendship with you if he invites you now after watching the stream?
But he has so many female friends around the world, and he has to invite everyone. I don't know how bad looking is that for his fiance. Just, I don't know.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I'm
Eddie
not
will
sure
be
if all his
soon
friends will
family
turn up.
guy, concentrated on the family and so on. And yeah, it's very nice. I'm very happy for him. Just I really wanted to be at the wedding. That's all, but I'm really, really happy for him, for sure.
I understand. I understand. You just want to you are so much in disbelief that you want to ensure if it is happening for real or not. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's okay. I'll order some Indian food and celebrate that day. No worry, you can stream. If you're not invited as well, we can make a special stream for him.
Oh yeah. I think AD's wedding will be streamed on his channel, and we can have a watch party on our channel.
Okay, we can do that. We can
and make fun of AD.
For sure.
That goes without saying.
For sure. The guests who were not invited. So yeah.
Yes, we'll do it on your channel, because if I do it on mine, he will copyright strike me.
No problem.
Your channel, I think, is safe.
No problem.
So what's happening in the game here? Prague has been blitzing out his moves. He has more than 10 minutes, and the center is completely closed. I think Prague really likes these types of questions. It comes after this King's Indian defense with the knight on d7. He goes with the knight on d7, the pawn to e5, the queen to e7, then he puts his pawn on c6. And at this point, d5 is a really tempting move for white, but something I would really hesitate to play, because this position after d5, c5, it's totally in Prague's comfort zone. He loves this closed position. He can move knight, he can push his pawns forward, and after b4 he just goes b6 and maintains status quo. So I think psychologically I wouldn't have played d5.
Yeah, to be honest, this moves king h8 is not really necessary, right? Black's idea here is to start kingside attack, and here any tempo is very important, and the one who starts the attack first wins the game. So this is a character of a King's Indian, and this moves king h8, I think, is just an unnecessary move. Like you can play 98 and open up file for the pawn, and if you need then in attack this move, then you can play afterwards. What do you think, Shri, about this move king h8? I just don't really like it.
I don't mind it. Yes, the tempos are important. What you're saying is true, but on the other hand, I do think the king h8 move, it can be a useful move in the future. It opens up the g file, and I think black can afford to spend that one tempo on
I don't like this move, because after f5, before f5, we don't know what structure you will have. After f5, white can capture this and push f4. White can allow you to do it. So it's still, we don't know what structure it will be, right? An f4 here, or it's not working. Oh, it's working, yes. So, yeah. Or just to play f4, f3, and you have different pawn structure. So yet you don't know what structure you will have, and that's why king h8 here to play. It's just or maybe he just made this move to play something very fast and get some time.
It could be, yeah, but that's kind of why he played knight h5. He wants to prevent white from playing f4 and get some f5 going.
Yeah.
Yeah. 63% think you should still be friend with AD.
Okay, then. Yeah.
Maybe I'll go and vote for the opposite.
Was thinking like why I think he would invite me, but I think he told me that he would invite me. That's why I had these expectations. That there's some Indian weddings are usually last for some days, and so on and so on. All this information I have from him, so that's what I thought, and that I would be invited. So
Do you have grand celebrations in Georgian weddings too?
No, no. Nowadays it became really small. Like for last weddings I have been, it has been only couple, their parents, and only bridesmaid and
Mm-hmm.
groommaid. I don't know. So it was very small, and yeah, they are trying to avoid some expenses and instead to travel
Right.
for honeymoon. Yeah, this is more like
The
more active
modern,
type of wedding. And yeah,
right.
and also the thing is that when you have a big wedding and when you invite someone, you always miss someone, right? You can't invite everyone and someone is always pissed on you. So these kind of small weddings are like best solutions nowadays in Georgia.
Right. Meanwhile, in the Christopher Vaishali game, it looks like Black is doing pretty okay. On one hand, you do have this pawn on d5. The pawn on e7 looks a bit weak. Yes, but on the other hand, there are so few minor pieces in the position. Black can, I think, even play bishop f6 here, for example.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Um, I have played this kind of position with black, and I was under huge attack on the king side, to be honest. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should be more careful with this structure because somehow white got really active with the pieces. Rook e4 or rook e3, rook h3 was the move. That rook got on h file, and then I had problems when I trade the dark square bishop. So
Right.
yeah.
So still some dangers for Vaishali to navigate. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a huge like you don't see any weakness here. E7 pawn is a backward, of course, and black has to guard it. But other pawns are quite okay, and black has to be really active here. Black should not wait. F4 now with the idea to push F5 next move.
Do you think she will play? Would you play bishop f6 here?
Yeah, I think bishop f6 is the move, at least to trade the bishops. Like if bishop g7, then f5, and I'm not a fan of that position.
Yeah, but bishop f6 can be psychologically a bit unpleasant, yeah, because
Yeah.
you allow these double pawns.
Yeah, we do that. That's for sure. But after f5, if white pushes f5, can we push g5 and then to get e5 square under control?
Oh yeah, she has played bishop f6, and Christopher responded with h4. And
Wait for.
maybe just h5 now. No. Then the g6 pawn becomes weak. Yeah. So what do you do here as black? Do you think Vaishali is under some pressure? Sorry.
G4 stream.
Yeah, I like queen g4.
Mm-hmm. The idea here is that I want to play h6 next move. I'm not going to be passive, but I want to push, yeah, and
yeah. Yeah, queen g4. Queen g4 played, and I think Vaishali is pretty safe here, which is a good thing. Yeah, she's actually helping her brother.
yeah.
Queen g4, Brishti goes queen b5. She's the most active member of the chat in the history of streams I've done in terms of chess moves.
Most active what?
Chess chatter. The person who talks most about chess on streams. Chess moves.
Who?
Yeah, queen b5. Maybe I'll just go rook f8 or
Who
rook
do you
d8.
mean, Shri?
Brishti Mukherjee.
Mm.
She's also a very decent chess player. I think she's about 1900 FIDE.
Mm.
Yeah, rook f8. The point is if white takes queen into b7, then we have rook b8 and rook into b2. And if not, then you're not really threatening anything. So yeah, I think Vaishali seems to be doing quite well. Yeah. Do you want to have a quick look at the Aditya game?
Hey, let's do it.
Aditya is actually worse against the player from the country where you're residing right now. Do you know Pavel well?
Pavel? Tesla? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know him.
So how do you pronounce his last name?
Pavel Tetslav. Today I had a talk with a Polish person, and I said that you are pronouncing as Teklav, and I don't correct you because I like I like the way you pronounce it.
Tekla.
Yeah, you were saying Teklav, but it's Tetslav. Like it's he's quite promising chess player, and he has been progressing so much for the last few years, and he's one of the best Polish junior for now, and who has also some chance to play quite good tournaments.
Tesla.
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 Yeah.
Tesla. So it's like Tesla, but you add a V at the end. Right?
Sorry?
Tesla. It's like Tesla, but you add a V in the end. So it's Tesla.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nailed
The
it.
most important that you were making mistake was with a C, ABC. You just say C, not K. Tekla. Yeah. Or you can keep it going because it sounds so funny.
Teklav. Chad, what do you think? Should I pronounce it as Teklav or Tesla?
Pavel, and he's doing quite well in here. Yesterday he was at the fifth position. Today is not his lucky day, seems like, but the first part was really nice. First part was really nice for him. Like out of 9 games, he scored most of the games, and he lost only 1 game against Lei Tingley. But today he is having a hard time, just like, and he just performed like Prague. Lost against Kmar, lost against Mishra, and he made 1 draw against Leon in the previous game. So but
Yeah.
I kind of have a feeling that those players who won into these 2 days, they kind of run out of the energy for today.
That's an interesting observation. I didn't think of that. But to be honest, one, I can't visualize these kids running out of energy, and two, I think they are kind of winning all the games in general. Yeah, the person who wins here has a very very high score in general. Can you just play g5 and win the knight here? Is it possible? Does I think White has a beautiful move here. Chat, have you seen it? Have you seen it yet? White has this awesome move which refutes g5. Katie, have you seen it?
Yes.
So when I say chat, then you see it instantly, yeah?
Yes, yeah. Chat, I'm chat. But there is like 2 moves. I think I like this second one more.
I see only one move.
Only 1 move. It's a
One move that properly wins. Yeah. Yeah. Bristy, she's suggesting knight into e6, f into e6, queen into g5, king f7, and now g4. This is what she wants, but I think this is not totally clear, yeah? And black can get counterplay. So the move I had in mind, which move did you have in mind?
Knight d5.
Yes, knight d5 is the move. Yeah, because
If
this
I get through to this knight e6 first, that was my first thought. But after king f7, I don't really see any further improvement there. It's quite risky. So yeah, knight d5 here makes sense just to.
Yeah, and knight h5 wouldn't work because after takes, queen into g5 check here, black can go back and defend. This is why g5 doesn't work. But I think not a lot exciting happening here at the moment. I think we'll have a quick look at the Vincent game and then quickly move on to the Leon Prague for the time travel phase.
Yeah.
Vincent seems to be winning this, yeah? G6 now?
Queen G4.
Knight takes F1.
Oh, I thought I pinned. Okay.
No, G6 the moves Rook G5. And now, yeah, this is exactly what happened in the game. And here, I think Vincent is just winning. He's just a piece up.
Rook D3.
Rook D3. So what does... Sometimes I'm just so blinded by the engine evaluation.
Yeah.
Well, all the time. This is something...
The engine says... in one side the engine says it's better for black, and other says it's completely winning for white.
Where does it say better for black?
The small bars, small engine bars, when you have evaluation bars.
But it shows completely winning for white, no? The live bar.
Yeah, live bar says same.
But knight d5, what a strong move. And knight into d5. Now you have rook into g6 check. This is beautiful. Takes, the king moves, and you take this, or you take... Yeah, you take this first.
Nice.
Yeah, I think Vincent is taking this one. So shall we zoom in on... I think quick update with the Vaishali game, and then we zoom in on the Prague game. And the Vaishali game is actually tricky. It looks completely equal, but it can go bad for Vaishali very easily.
Yeah.
It can go bad. These kind of rook end games, it can get very tricky. The d6 pawn is a weakness, and the white king is more advanced. So white will have better winning chances.
Can we play h6 here?
If I take
king h7 and just get this pawn.
But I can just play rook h3 and hold on to this pawn, no?
Yeah, it was voluntary. If I can play f5, but it was really voluntary.
Yeah, you can play f5, but now maybe I come back rook e3 and white is faster, maybe. Not sure. But yeah, I think there is some danger here for Vaishali. There's some element of risk. White has, I think, good winning chances.
Yeah, let's go back to Prague's game. Things are getting interesting there.
Yeah, now we are down at the 1 minute each zone, yeah, the bullet zone. And Prague is a pawn down. Yes, Prague is a pawn down, and White has effectively stalled Black's attack. He has effectively stalled the opening of lines.
Yeah, White has also stole the pawn from H file. How did it happen, actually?
So Prague went f4, f5, f4, and here the typical way of defense is to play g4 and stop the opening of lines. So this is what happened, and what this does is it also puts all the pawns on light squares, and f3 check is a threat now. So Leon has to watch out against that. But I think he can
play
just
bishop f3 or f3 itself. Oh, f3, king h4, queen e1.
Yeah, queen h4, you have queen e1. But I just don't have a good feeling about this f3 move. It seems to weaken the dark squares too much. So he goes bishop f3, knight f6, which allows some knight b6, does it? Oh yeah, I think there's a problem now. He missed it, I think. Knight b6 was a problem. But maybe he was worried about some bishop into g4, so he reacts with queen e2. Yeah, I think if you play knight b6, then after bishop into g4, it gets very dangerous for white. H into g4, knight into g4, and knight e3 is actually checkmate.
Yeah. Yeah, I like queen e2 move just to avoid that and keep this threat on the board. But you know what? Like black has to be really careful because if black moves the rook, for instance, like if white trades the rook on b file, then h4, queen h6, and g5 will lose a piece. So
exactly what I was thinking about. Yeah. Bishop d7, he had rook b7, I think, which would exactly do this. Yeah, takes, and now h4, queen h6, g5. Exactly what you pointed out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he didn't spot it, and he still gets his h4 g5 though.
Yeah, but now the knight is away. It's not dangerous. Black can even capture with the rook and to get this rook on b file.
Yeah, but what it would do is it would liberate this bishop, and I think that's also important for white. Apparently, Leon doesn't think so. But I would have played h4 and g5. It was the most obvious strategic move. But he still has a good position. He threatens queen a4. He threatens to win more material. He's already a pawn up. But I think h4 g5 was like asking to be played there. Pragg, after a deep thought, he plays queen h4. He was going to the brink of getting into time trouble. And now there are some very interesting threats, Keti. There's rook b2 and there's knight f8, knight h7, knight g5. Pragg could yet win this. Oh, wow. Rook b1, very important move. Taking out the sting from all of. And now I would take and play g5. Play g5, please. Activate the bishop. Queen a4 is also it's probably a stronger move. You're just taking the pawn.
Is only move to save both.
And now queen c6 is strong. I think it's winning maybe.
Wow. Oh, it's winning then.
Yeah. Queen b7, queen c6.
Is it I'm sure he's going to play knight b6.
You're just faster. Like
again this
c7,
g5
and yeah. Maybe you start with g5 first.
G5,
because c7 there's g5. So you start with g5. He has finally played it. Knight b8, and even now I think bishop g4 is just winning. Queen e8 is also very strong. Yeah, queen e8.
Oh wow, he did not play queen c6.
Queen never leaves. He did not play queen c6. He played g5 first. I think he was not sure. He was not sure if he was on time because you had to calculate this. Yeah, and you're getting here by just one tempo.
Yeah, you need to calculate that.
Yeah, he was not sure of that.
So I kind of have a feeling that Pragg just went out from his energy, or I don't know how to say, like he doesn't have enough energy to play for today's, because he's struggling in all the games today.
Yeah, I think that's also one of the drawbacks of his playing style in general. Yeah, he does take a lot of risks, which creates winning chances, which creates results like what he got in the first 2 days. But it's a double-edged sword, so sometimes it also backfires.
Yeah. The stability can come later, I think, by the experience. It can be more and more stable. What here white is doing is to push f5, h4, h5, create a pass pawn there. And the bad thing for black is that knight is such a lifeless here. Knight cannot improve. The only way knight can improve is knight c8, knight a8, knight b6, and to attack c4 pawn. But that can be easily guarded. So
yeah, that can be stopped in one move.
Yeah.
This has been a tough day for Pragg. But I did notice that around this point, a lot of upsets do happen. It's not completely uncommon. Meanwhile, quickly to just update you before we get back to the Pragg game, Vaishali is making a draw against Christopher Yu. So I think that's an excellent result. Black will play king c4, king b4, king d4, king d4, king c3, and this rook pawn is a draw. So Vaishali will end
At
Her
least
day
one
would
sibling has a good time today.
yeah, that's the thing at their house. Yeah, they can always be happy because one of them wins all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice to have strong chess player sibling.
Yeah, it's the best thing because if you have a strong chess player spouse, maybe it's not always happy. Sometimes there can be fights, but with siblings, it's usually always you have fights, but it's not such big fights. So
Yeah,
it's always a good time.
there's always fights, so it's matters what you're fighting for. What's the subject of fight? I mean, my brother, when we were fighting, we were really peaceful, but at some point when we both were teenagers, we both wanted to have access to the computer longer than the other. And we had only one cable, we had only one PC, and we could not share. So we had a conflict about that. So anyone has conflicts with the siblings, right? For sure. But it always matters what you're having conflict with.
True. Oh, the knight goes to h8. This is sad, but that has been Prag's day so far.
King g4, h5. That can be too
Yeah,
possible.
h5 directly also wins. Yeah, it takes and g6, and I think black has to resign here. King f6 does d6. And this is the final game of the day. So the other results: Vincent defeated Balaji. We saw that game. Christopher Yu drew against Vaishali, and Aditya Mittal drew against Pavel Tetzla. Paul Tetzla.
Good, very good. Yeah,
I
let's
learned.
take a look maybe at the final standings, or this game is still in progress. Oh, this game is still in
Yeah,
progress.
after this game, we'll have a look at the final standings and yeah, and then just chill with the chat. Oh, Prague is still playing on. That shows how disappointed he is. And
Yeah.
finally, he resigns. So let's bring up the final standings. And Prague, for the first time in this event, is at the third place. And he has played one game more than the people at the top two. So this is not looking good for Prague. Vincent Gamer in the lead with 10. Christopher Yu, 9.5. But he has played one game less than Prague. And I think that will have a huge impact. Prague had one of the tougher days today. He played 1, 2, and 5. And his losses was completely unexpected. It's but these things happen in sport. As Anish said, if you know who's going to win, then what's the point of watching?
Yeah. Yeah,
And I think Leon has also performed pretty. I think all the Indian players have performed pretty
yeah,
decently.
looks
What do you
quite
think?
impressive standing. So out of 4 Indian players, they're in top 10. So I think this is amazing result in general.
Yes, Aditya playing his first Challengers Chess Tour. He has, I think, adapted impressively well. He's with a +1 score, 6.5 out of 12. And Vaishali, she's been the top women player in this tournament clearly. 6.5 points, half point ahead of the Chinese Grandmaster Lei Tingyi. And below them comes a whole of talented juniors. Murjin, I think, should already be a grandmaster as soon as he plays a few FIDE tournaments. Leia Garifulina, Russia's number 2 junior among women. Abhimanyu Mishra, the world's youngest grandmaster, with 5 out of 12. Zhu Jaina, 4.5. And Olivia Sokolsky, Sokolowski, Mamadzada,
Vasa.
with 3.5. Sorry?
Yeah, okay, yeah. You
Yes,
read
Olivia
two,
Kilbasa.
two names, like one name and one last name, so I was confused.
Yeah. I just choose the one which is easier to pronounce, like Keti. And Balaji Dagupati completes the list with 3 out of 12. But will has he's had a better day, and will look forward to finishing well.
Yeah, Sri, what's really good about this event, you can't predict anything, because I think yesterday we couldn't predict this kind of events for Prague, that it could tables could turn. So I think tomorrow will be another day, another challenge for these players, and we might see completely different end of the challenger tournament.
Absolutely. I think tomorrow is set to be a cliffhanger. Prag could win all the 3 games, and he still has a very good shot at winning this tournament. So stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow, same time at 7:25. Thank you so much, chat, for staying through with us. Thank you so much, Katie, for being a lovely co-host as always. And guys, do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel before tuning off.
Bye, everyone.